Who's absent?
Nobody, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, class. Again, my name is Mrs. Mazel, and I'm going to be your English teacher for the next week. Nice to see you, Arta and Alda. I remember both of you very well from last year's English class.
Mrs. Mazel, where's Mrs. Babel?
She's at a conference with some teachers from our school. She's going to be away for a week. She told me about your lessons and your homework assignments. Yes, Nada?
Mrs. Mazel, do we have to work on our assignments from last week?
Of course you do. You have to write a short biography about Mark Twain for today's class. Does everyone have their homework? I don't see your hand in the air, Atan.
Mrs. Babel told me about her trip, so I didn't bring my homework with me.
Why not?
Because sometimes our substitute teachers don't check our homework.
Well, I am going to check your homework, Atan. Mrs. Beagle gave you an assignment and I want to see it. Bring it in tomorrow.
Okay, teacher, I'm sorry.
Alright. So, students, I'm going to ask you something. I wanted to know, do you like to read books? Yes, Anna?
Yes, teacher, I do. This summer I read a lot of books.
Alright, thank you. Sit down. What kind of books did you read this summer? Yes, Tino?
This summer I read 2 books, The Fault in Our Stars and Walk to Remember. And teacher, I know about Tom Sawyer, but I want to know more about him.
Okay, so today's theme is about Tom Sawyer. Okay, so Tino knows about Tom, but wants to know more about him. Now, the next question is, who wrote Tom Sawyer? Anyone? Yes, Jasmine?
Mark Twain wrote Tom Sawyer.
Okay, thank you. Sit down. Alright, so who can tell us about Mark Twain's early life?
I can.
Alright, Brittany?
When he was a young man, Mark Twain worked on a boat on the Mississippi River. Later, he decided to become a writer. He liked to write stories, and he wrote a story about his life as a riverboat pilot.
Okay, thank you. Sit down. Alright, students, who's going to tell me? Who was Mark Twain? Yes, Sandy?
Mark Twain was a famous American writer. His real name was Samuel Clemens, but he changed it to Mark Twain when he worked on a riverboat.
Alright, Sandy, sit down. Now, who's going to tell me about Mark Twain stories? Yes, Elizabeth?
Mark Twain loved to travel and he wrote a lot of stories about many different places. His very first story was about a famous frog. The frog and its owner lived in a small town in California. It was a very funny story and it made Mark Twain famous.
Alright, you can sit down now. Very good. Who was Tom Sawyer? Yes, Victoria?
Tom Sawyer was a very smart boy, but sometimes he got into trouble. He was usually late for school. Tom was about my age. He lived with his aunt and he had a friend named Huckleberry Finn.
Alright, thank you. Sit down. Who can tell us something more about Tom Sawyer? Anyone? Yes, Leon?
He wasn't a very good student. He always got into trouble, just like his friend had. He was a nice boy too.
Okay, thank you. Sit down. Now, who's your favorite character from Tom Sawyer? Anyone? Yes, Sam?
My favorite character is Huckleberry Finn because he's funny and always got into trouble.
Okay, thank you. Sit down. Now, we want to know more about Tom's family. Yes, Otis?
Yes, he did. He had Aunt Polly, Polly's daughter, and Tom's brother.
Alright, thank you. Now, alright, so who can tell me? Who lived Tom with? Yes, Betty?
He lived with his Aunt Polly.
Alright, thank you. Sit down now. Okay, so now we want to know more about his friends. Did he have any friends? Yes, Vera?
Yes, he had a lot of friends. One of them was Huckleberry Finn.
Alright, thank you. Alright, so Tom's friend was Huck. Who was Huck? Yes, Elsa?
Huck was Tom's best friend.
Alright, thank you. Now we're going to move to another question. Did Tom and his friends have fun with each other? Yes, Adelina?
Well, Tom and his friend have a lot of fun with each other. His closest friend was Huck. They did a lot of interesting things together.
Alright, thank you. Sit down. And now, I have another one. Alright, so how did Tom and Huck spend their free time? Anyone? Yes, Jesse?
Tom and Huck like to play games, go fishing and scare people, but I don't want to scare anyone.
Alright, thank you. Sit down. So now, we want to know more about Tom's crush. Who was Tom's crush? Anyone? Yes, Lena?
Tom's crush was Becky.
Alright, thank you, Lena. Sit down. So now, who's going to describe Becky? Yes, Bettina?
Becky had blonde hair and blue eyes. She was an intelligent girl, like me, teacher.
Alright, thank you. Sit down, Bettina. Alright, so who was waiting for Tom? Yes, Ariel?
When he returned home in the evening, Tom finds Aunt Polly waiting for him.
Okay, good. Sit down. So now, who can tell us any time when Tom got into trouble? Yes, Carlo?
Tom often got in trouble. One time he went to the Becker's house, and when he returned home, his Aunt Polly caught him going in from the window. After that, she punished him by painting the backyard fence.
Alright, thank you.
Teacher, may I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
Who was Tom's teacher?
So Ellie wants to know who was Tom's teacher. Tom's teacher was a man named Mr. Dobbins.
Teacher,
Yes, Ariana?
may I tell you something?
Yes, of course.
My parents gave me Tom Sawyer for a birthday present. I'm reading it right now. My favorite character is Becky. She's intelligent and beautiful.
Alright, that's awesome. Did you understand about Tom's life?
Teacher, may I say something?
Yes, of course.
In the beginning, I said I know something about Tom Sawyer, but I wanted to know more about him. Now I learned about his family, about his friends, about his crush, and about his teacher.
Okay, Tino, very good. So, class, Tino wanted to know more about Tom, his family, friends, etc. And now he learned more about Tom, his family, his friends, etc.
Teacher, do we have to discuss about our chapter next class?
So now, for homework, you have to write a summary about the 6 chapters from Tom Sawyer.
Okay, girls, from today we're going to read and write a summary of our chapter.
Okay,
Alright.
That's a great idea.
Alright, students, it was my pleasure to be here with you today. So that's enough, and see you tomorrow. Bye, students.
Goodbye.
teacher.